Hey, it's Ethan here, and today I'm going to show you a 4D maze minigame I made in Minecraft. But before we jump in, let's talk about why I decided to take on this project. So it all started when Alex Warrior hosted a game jam for housing, where players like me create a house based on a theme. The theme was dimensions. When I first saw the theme, I immediately thought of a 4D maze, one where you're allowed to freely travel through the fourth dimension. I got this idea from a Tom Scott video about trying to get kids to understand the fourth dimension.
Perhaps if you can get kids to move around 3 dimensions intuitively while their brains are developing, they'd be able to understand 4.
Now let's take a moment to understand what the fourth dimension really means, especially in the context of a maze. In a regular 2D maze, we can see the entire maze layout, but someone inside it can only move forward, backwards, left and right. When we add another dimension, a 3D maze, players can move up and down, like climbing a ladder between different 2D mazes. Now, what if we go one step further and introduce a 4D maze? In a 4D maze, we allowed players to travel between different 3D mazes, and that extra dimension gives us some abilities, like walking through walls. So how does one travel to other 3D mazes? One way similar to ladders is to use a button. Fixed positions where you can shift from one dimension to the next. However, I really wanted to have players a lot of freedom to travel between the dimensions. So instead I have these books which I can travel between the dimensions, and I don't need to be in a specific position to use it. Of course, I'd love to have an infinite number of 3D worlds in my 4D maze, but you know, Minecraft has its limitations. Plus I only have 5 weekday evenings to build this. So I decided to use some in-game lore to explain this. I introduced items called shifters, which are enchanted items created by the enchanters. These shifters allow us to move between different dimensions, or rooms, that the enchanters have built for themselves. So in our game, we can build 3D worlds with limited space, and only a certain number of dimensions are within the game. Alright, let's dive into the mind-bending 4D maze I created. So first things first, we start off with a straightforward maze, just to warm up. Then things take an interesting turn when I find the storage item. When I use it, I'm shifted into the storage dimension, which is another maze. Now I can freely move between the library dimension and the storage dimension. And here, I can't really reach this room here. So I can use the library dimension to walk into this room. And now I'm in the room. And essentially walk through the wall, somewhere I couldn't access before. But hold on, you might be thinking, hey, that's just a 3D maze. And you're absolutely right. It's not until we're in the lounge dimension that things take a turn with a ladder. Now we have a 3D maze, and we can freely travel to other 3D mazes. As for the game jam, other than Alex and Buster Brown finding a huge skip that I had to patch up, I came third and got a cool competition winner Discord rank. One big lesson I learned was the importance of playtesting. Each player brings their own perspective to your game, including clever ways to break your game, and the many ways to get stuck. I learned that understanding multiple players' experiences is the most essential part of developing a game. I'm not entirely sure if it's because I built it, but now I feel like I really understand the concept of the fourth dimension, even though it's an illusion of it. It's almost like I'm exploring it, instead of someone just telling me about it. So if you want to try it out yourself, you can do so by visiting my housing in Hypixel, using the /LinuxEthan command and talking to Sam. I have some dialogue options if you want to learn a little more about the lore. So thank you for watching, bye!